That's weird that they don't have a checklist like you were talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just because not everybody's going to fit the checklist. Carlos Correa has finally signed a contract. He signed a deal with the Minnesota Twins.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's friggin' hilarious. He got 6 years, $200 million. It could be worth up to $270 million. This offseason, he has agreed to 31 years and $865 million in contract money, but he's getting like such a small fraction of that.
Yeah.
It's mind boggling.
It's half the length that all the other teams were offering him.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally
Yeah,
half. I
it
was
is.
shocked.
It is shocking. And this is one thing that Scott Boras released a statement. He said, I don't understand the Mets. I gave them all the information. We had them talk to 4 doctors. They knew the issue the Giants had, and yet they still call the same doctors the Giants used for his opinion. There was no new information, so why negotiate a contract if you're going to rely on the same doctor? I say tosh. It was different with the Giants because a doctor had an opinion they didn't know about. But the Mets had notice of this. They knew the opinion of the Giants. So why did you negotiate when you know this thing in advance? He said it was really, really stressful for Carlos and his family.
I'm not surprised it was stressful.
That I'm sure it was.
I
but
totally
you know
believe
what, though?
that.
Honestly, I feel like the one who's putting him through the most stress, Scott Boras.
B.
Yeah, Scotty B. Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know. I am a little bit shocked that a Scott Boras client settled for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
That they legit
in this market,
yeah, and that
because they.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, he could have taken less money and gotten a longer contract.
Yeah, right. And I wonder if the Mets were willing to go like 8 years.
Yeah.
Right. But they were just like so fed up. They're like, no, we're going to go somewhere else. I don't know. But so I thought this was interesting that this is David Sampson explained on his podcast. Nothing personal. Nothing personal with David Sampson. He explained how physicals work.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know this. I always assumed that it was a checklist, right? Doctor goes down the list. Check your shoulder, check your hips, check your knees, check your legs, blah, blah, look at
medical
your
history.
X-rays, MRIs, all that stuff. We're looking for this, and this. That is not how it works. A doctor goes through, performs a physical, and then presents the information to the team owner and the general manager and says, this is what I found. The owner and the general manager look at it and say, okay, this might be concerning. Doc, what's the prognosis for this in 6 years from now? Well, based on what I've seen, this could happen, this could happen. He could be fine.
Yeah.
Right. So what happened was this doctor the Giants used for the physical, this one guy, apparently, from what it sounds like, is like, this is a bad injury and it could raise its ugly head again down the road. I'm assuming what he said, like what I said last week with my dad, how he had a bad break and almost 20 years later, it's still bugging him,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I wonder if that was something that came up, is that like, it might not bug him now, but you have him play in a cold weather city like New York or even a cool weather city like San Francisco.
Yeah.
And he's 37, 38. It's going to bug him.
Okay, but he's playing in Minnesota.
I know. And the Twins are like 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
So
why would they not go for a clean physical, like 0 soup to nuts, the whole thing? Let's check everything start to finish. That's weird that they don't have a checklist like you were talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just because not everybody's going to fit the checklist. Like, I think if you had a checklist, nobody would pass.
Maybe that's
everybody's
true.
Got something, especially you play sports long enough. You're 30 years old. Everybody got something.
Yeah. 100%.
Right. Everybody's had at least one surgery at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's why. But no, I thought that all along it was a checklist. But I thought that one thing I really liked about this, though, I've been saying for years, I don't understand why teams go out there and they bid against themselves when a guy is demanding a 10-year contract, but nobody else is offering it, but they go do it anyway. Right. I've never understood that. And this was the Twins being like, from the very beginning, we will not give you more than 6 years.
Right.
Will not. And then these other teams, they go and do it, but they don't like what they see. And then the Twins are like, and here's this for you
Yeah.
all along.
So we said, yeah.
And he had to take the offer on the deal or offer on the table. And I'm curious if maybe owners will get smart and stop bowing to the demands of the agent and just give what they want to give.
Right. Like,
because if it's not there, they can't take
offer you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I understand collusion, right? If owners are in the owners' meetings in the winter, they're like, okay, we're not going to give anybody more than 7 years. Like, that's collusion, right?
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
But if it's kind of an understood thing, like, that's where we're going to max out.
Yeah.
It becomes the new normal. And
that's
I've said for years, I think the NBA does it right. They have maximum lengths of contracts.
Yeah.
And
it's stipulated.
Yeah, exactly. And they can give a guy an extra year if he signs with his team that drafted him.
Yep. But that's it.
And I think that's huge.
It's huge.
Like if MLB came in and said, we're going to cap the number of years you can make a contract, but if you sign with the team that drafted you or the team you're with currently, then you'll get an extra year. Guys, they eat it up. Guys, stay put.
Which is what we want.
Exactly right.
Let's make it clear that Brad and I want guys to stay put for long-term contracts.
Yeah, exactly right. We do. And I would prefer to have a homegrown guy who's really good stick around than have somebody else come in who's not as good, but it's his only option.
Right. Okay, so let's war game this a little bit. Can you imagine Julio doesn't sign that extension? Okay.
Right.
And at the end of his arbitration eligible years, he goes and gets poached by Houston or San Francisco even, or whatever, because he likes the climate. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
that would be
with the amount of money. I feel like San Francisco would be realistic with the amount of money they threw at Correa and Judge this offseason.
Right, that's what I mean.
So, they go out there and they throw all this money at Julio and go somewhere else.
No, it's bad for Seattle. Everything about that's bad for Seattle. And because it's bad for an entire fan base, it might also be all the way bad for baseball.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Not it is every time, but depending on how it goes, that it could be very bad.
Yeah, it would be bad. I mean, you look at, I know Ken Griffey Jr. asked for a trade.
Yeah.
But that was not good for the fan base.
No.
The A-Rod. None of them. But it was more forgivable than A-Rod leaving because the Mariners couldn't give the money that Texas could. They still hate A-Rod in Seattle.
Rightly so.
I think last time I was there 7 years ago, people were still throwing money out of the rafters when he was a Yankee.
You're kidding me.
No, I think people still have Monopoly money they were throwing at him. Because that's what they did the first time he came back after he left.
Yeah,
there was just Monopoly money everywhere.
That's hilarious. And that they still do it is even funnier.
So. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that should be a thing always. Yeah. The highlight of his career. Monopoly money. Oh, here's some garlic fries and some strawberries and some Monopoly money.
There you go.
Welcome to Seattle.